Good evening, everybody. Mike DelVisco, Shelia Bunch over there on the other side. Another great edition of the Outdoor Showcase. Sheila, how are you this evening?
I am wonderful. And I think we got one of my favorite people coming on, don't we?
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah. Keith Sisney from Proline Baits. Interesting dude with an interesting company with interesting products.
I know, and I'm very excited about this.
Yes, and he's even got more stuff now than, we had him on earlier in the year in another project, and we talked to him a lot about what he had then, and he's got, I don't know, quadruple the amount of products now. His product line's expanding. He's starting to do real good. People are hearing about his stuff, and it's going to be fun.
Well, I just appreciate that he's taking the time to be on here with us. I know how busy he is.
Yeah,
I really appreciate what he does.
He's had a lot going on, but
yes.
Yeah. And something exciting we got going on our end was a brainstorm you had a couple of weeks ago, and we just started to do this about the last 7 days now. We got a little contest going, don't we?
Yes, we do. And the reason why I even came up with this is because it looks like we're going to have a very fabulous fishing show this year up there in Knoxville. And everybody's wanting to purchase tickets already, which ticket sales don't go on sale till the end of this month. And, every year we get hotels lined up for not only for the exhibitors, but also for the people that come to the show. And the only thing they have to do is mention the East Tennessee Fishing Show, and they get a special rate. So we're going to give one lucky winner a 2-night stay in one of those hotels, plus tickets to the fishing show for 2 days. So, and the only thing you have to do is what, Mike?
We have to like, share, and tag a friend on the Outdoor Showcase Facebook page, which just got launched in the last, 2 weeks or so, week and a half, 2 weeks, just got launched. Now official Facebook page for the Outdoor Showcase. So Ray made a really cool post, and producer Ray, executive producer Ray, I should say, and find that post on the Outdoor Showcase Facebook page, like it, share it, tag a friend, and that's driving our likes up quite a bit, and you will have a chance to win. And when are we going to announce the winner? Sometime in December, correct?
That is correct. We are going, I think we're announcing it before Christmas, aren't we?
Yeah. I thought we talked about December 9th, which is the next live show. Yeah.
Yes. And then that way, somebody can give it to their spouse for Christmas.
That would be great.
I know.
Because, and the cool thing about that is you just can't see the East Tennessee Fishing Show in one day. You need at least 2 days. If you're there on a weekend, you need Saturday, Sunday. If you're there Friday, Saturday, you need a couple of days. Saturday's jam-packed. It's hard to get around, hard to see everybody. So you need 2 days to take it all in.
Yes, and it takes you a while to go through all those products. And we've got some really neat products coming this year. I mean, we've got not only do we have the vendors that have been there for years, we've got a lot of new people that's coming.
Awesome. And one of those guys is our first guest coming up here tonight, Keith Sisney with Proline Baits. And we're going to take a really short break, and then we're going to come right back and talk to Keith and see what he's got. And then you'll be able to actually see him at the East Tennessee Fishing Show coming up in January. So quick break. We'll be right back with our first guest, Keith Sisney from Proline Baits.
Catch the best in outdoor products every month on the Outdoor Showcase. Hosts Shelia Bunch and Mike DelVisco bring you new, unique, and awesome products for the outdoors, featuring guests and segments. Whether you fish, boat, camp, or just love the outdoors, there's always something for everyone. We are live the last Thursday of every month on the Pride Outdoor Network, available on Fire TV and Roku. For more info or to have your products showcased, visit theoutdoorshowcase.com. We'll see you in the great outdoors.
Hey, Mike DelVisco back with you here, the Outdoor Showcase. And we got coming up a real favorite guy that have on the show. And man, this guy's got some really cool stuff. And I didn't realize how cool it was until I got to witness it firsthand in the boat. And I'll probably tell Keith that story because it's kind of funny in a way. But man, I tell you what, Proline Baits, he makes some really, really cool fish attractants that I think is going to revolutionize the scent and attracting industry for all the different game fish, not just bass, but man, he's got stuff for crappie and trout and carp and catfish. What a bunch of cool stuff he's got. We got him right here in the Outdoor Showcase. Keith Cisney from over in South Carolina. How are you, my friend?
Doing great, Mike. How are you this evening?
I'm doing great. And so real quick before we get going, you had sent my fiance Brandy last year a couple of bottles of the Proline. I think it was just the regular bass flavors. We were going up to Maine. We were going to go bass fishing, and she picked her favorite one, and she picked right because I mean she sprayed it on, made 3 casts, caught 3 fish in a row. Big giant smallmouth, big giant largemouth, and it was a tough, one of the tougher days of fishing up there. They weren't biting horribly well, but man, she just wore me out fishing, spraying your Proline Baits fish attractor on her baits and her little jigs and worms and stuff, and just clobbering them. So I've seen it firsthand. I am a believer. But last year when we spoke, you didn't have quite as many things. Now you got a ton of stuff.
Yes, I mean, we've come a long way in, Mike, in the last year, adding, of course, the crappie line, the trout line, not just the bass, but, we just got a wide audience. And, as the company's growing, we're just seeing that our products work in a large area, that we're not just fish specific anymore. We're multi-species, and that's what we're after is we want to share our knowledge, our products with, what we've learned over the years, and, put the products in anglers' hands and let them take them out and let them witness it for themselves, just like Brandy, done, Is it magic? No, it's not magic. Does it help? Absolutely. I mean, it's simple to use. It's just one of those products that's just gonna help create extra bites in those tough conditions, or even in deep water when the fish are suspended out in that 50, 60 foot of water. The feedback that we've gotten from anglers all across the United States about how the product works in deep water and how long the product stays on the lure,
Yeah. It does stay on. It's really highly concentrated. You can tell the minute you spray Proline Baits on one of your lures, how long it stays on there, how effective it is. And, one thing I'm realizing is, as we're talking here a little bit, is that, you look at, just the bass and the crappie attractants. Well, they are feeders that I kind of believe that once they bite your bait, more bass than probably a crappie, but once they bite your bait, they hang on to it longer with the attractant on. Now, a trout or a catfish or a carp are not only visual feeders, but they also smell really good too. So if you get the trout to come after your bait, and a lot of times, and I've seen this happen like in aquariums, they'll turn away from it. They won't eat it. So I think you've got that great advantage to, not only get them to come to the bait, but then eat it and cause them to bite it too. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And just, Mike, and that's where we all started, and I know a lot of people in the United States, they consider the carp the trash fish, and it's been one of them. I've been fishing for carp for years and years, and it's absolute my utmost passion. And a carp or a catfish, actually a catfish will bite by reaction, but you take a carp, don't bite by reaction. I mean, you have to entice that carp feed mode. And from what I've learned in developing, scented products for carp, is then we started applying those into the bass, the crappie, the trout, and the catfish. And what we were trying to do is take a soft plastic bait, and add the real natural ingredients, super concentrated, and make that plastic bait not only smell, but taste just like the real thing that swims around in our lakes and rivers. And it may cause that fish to, when they come across it, even though it's a plastic artificial bait, when they inhale it, they're just going to hang on to it. It's just, we've proved it, and we've had anglers just say, tell us how deep that the hook is set in the fish, inside the fish's mouth. So that tells us, that the product is working, because they really think that it's real food and they want to swallow it.
Yeah. And any advantage that you can get, the more senses you can appeal to, from my world in a bass, texture, taste, feel, visual, action, all those sorts of things. If I can appeal to more senses the bass has, the better I have a chance of catching them. And scents play a big part of that. I see it. I saw it happening just, that day when Brandy and I were fishing in Maine, is that she got far more bites than I did and better class of fish than I did, fishing virtually the same things. She was using the product I wasn't. We were trying to do a little experiment, and it definitely works. One thing I see, when you look down too you go on your website, which is ProlineBaits.com, and you look at the different scents for, different species, and use that drop-down menu to look at the flavors. There's some flavors that really don't exist in some of the other scent worlds.
That's right. Yeah, absolute right. We're definitely unique. And, and I don't, whether you're in the, the carp game, the bass game, trout, or, catfish, whatever, we're definitely different. And we just want to give the angler an advantage, if they feel that they need an advantage, or like you said, on them tough days when a bite are just very few and far between, sometimes just something this simple, spray an attractant on a bait, throw it in, and boom, and it works for, the tournament anglers or just the everyday bank angler, and it's like any other product, you just got to learn to use it. And, we have, guys that tell us now that they'll never fish another soft plastic without a scented product, now that they've used the Proline Baits and they've seen the end results.
Yeah. And I'm looking at two of the flavors that caught my eye. And I'm looking at the trout here is Veta cheese and sweet corn, which is pretty cool. But nobody else has got that.
No, sir. And the incredible thing about them is not only, they smell just like sweet corn, and it smells just like, Velveeta cheese. Me as a kid, when I trout fished years and years ago, and I still enjoy it when I get time to go, but Vita cheese was one of the best baits that I ever used for trout fishing, as a young kid. One, it was cheap, back in the day, and it stayed on the hook really well, and the trout absolutely loved it. So that was something I never forgot. And, and I just wanted to replicate, that smell and taste and, offer that to the anglers, because, I mean, and again, you can use that on any type of power baits, any type of soft plastics, again, which trout, I mean, I'm seeing numerous little plastic jigs or little plastic worms now that they're using for trout fishing. And it's just so simple, yeah, things have definitely changed, and we definitely want to change with our times and, get more involved with our community and, of course, the anglers and share, what we've learned and what we have, with our fellow anglers.
That's awesome. And we're up on a little break here. We're going to take a real short commercial break, 30 seconds, 1 minute, come right back, talk more. And I want to see more in depth. I see you got a bunch of product in the back there. I want to see some of the stuff and go through some of the product line for our folks and our viewers. And we'll do that here in just about 30 seconds. Mike DelVisco, Keith Cisney, Outdoor Showcase. We'll be right back.
Attention! The East Tennessee Fishing Show is back. The biggest and best fishing event in the South returns January 20th through the 23rd. Shop the largest selection of custom tackle for bass, crappie, striper, fly fishing, catfish, and more. Plus, we have added saltwater. Get the best deals of the year on new boats. Learn about the latest in fishing equipment with free seminars from top anglers. It's back. Don't miss the biggest fishing event of the year, the East Tennessee Fishing Show.
Hey, Mike DelVisco, back with you here for part 2 of Keith Cisney Proline Baits. And we're going to dive a little bit deeper into his product line. I want to see some of the stuff he's got there in the back. I see it. Incredibly easy to use. Spray it on, cast it out, catch fish. I mean, it's that simple. But for the viewers out there, let's kind of go through some of the product line and some of the things you've got back there and explain it a little bit more in depth.
Absolutely. And of course, we're going to start with the bass. That's the one that really piqued everyone's interest at the moment. But it comes in 7 different flavors or scents. We got a herring, frog, a crayfish, an anise, a night crawler, a garlic, and a shad. 1 ounce bottles with the sprayers. Awesome packaging.
And the sprayers are really nice too, and you don't waste a lot of product, which is one thing I like.
Absolutely. And, just to give a little example, Mike, it is just as simple as spraying it on, cast it in. But actually, we've kind of taken it, to another level. To where if you really want to maximize your, your scent and make sure that your scent is going to stay on the lure for hours upon hours, is, you just get your, your bottle of scent. So I chose the herring. And the reason I've done that is it's got a little bit of a darker color. And one thing I want to let the anglers know is what little bit of color that's in this. One, it's all natural. It will not stain your bait. It's not going to change the color of your bait. It's not going to change the way the bait performs. All it's going to do is just add the scent, to the bait. And, once again, just going to help you, catch more fish. And, I just picked up some tournament series bass. They look like about a 6-inch worm. And what I'm going to do, Mike, is I'm just going to take and put about 3 or 4 squirts inside the bag. sealed, just sealed up. And within about 15 minutes, you're going to know if you want to add a little more, or you're going to be, oh, wow. And like I said, it's just going to show a little bit of the liquid on the bag, but it's definitely coated all over the worms. And the unique thing about our products is the Proline Baits scent, literally, the longer that the scent stays in the bag with your soft plastic, it literally is going to infuse into the worm, and or whatever you choose, to fish with. And it don't matter if you're fishing 2 feet, 10 foot, 50 or 70 feet deep, is your soft plastic is going to smell the same, whether, like I said, whether you're fishing 2 foot or 70 foot. And when you reel it back up, just put it up in your hand, smell it. I mean, after you use the bait for an hour and a half, it's still going to smell just like the product, whichever one you choose. So that's definitely, the thing that we have going for us here at Proline Baits is being able to literally infuse the soft plastics to make them last for hours upon hours while you're fishing.
What's your best-selling bass flavor?
Mike, I would have to say that probably garlic and crayfish are probably absolute there right at the top. The herring, the one that I just used, I know last winter it won several tournaments where guys were setting in 60, 70 foot of water, doing a drop shot, and absolute were just crushing largemouth bass and just running away with the field,
Right.
And I'm, we're talking January, February, when our water temps are absolute at the lowest point, and these guys were going out catching, 4 and 5 fish, when a lot of boats struggled to even put a fish on the boat in those months.
Yeah.
So, Mike, just real quickly, we also, we got the crappie, same bottle, 1 ounce, super concentrated, any soft plastic jigs, anything you want to spray them on. Once again, same results, comes in 5 different scented scents. Also, we got our catfish line. They come in a 4 ounce bottle, and and the best results for the catfish products is we really encourage guys, if you like to fish chicken livers, buy a bottle. It don't take a whole lot, a half an ounce, if you so desire. And again, it's going to not only scent the bait, flavor the bait, it's going to color the bait as well. Like this here's the sweet garlic and butternut. So if you're fishing a chicken liver or chicken breast, chicken breast is absolute one of the best fish baits on the market, and a lot of people don't know about it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, just go to your local grocery store, buy you some chicken breast, cut it up in little chunks, and add some of the Proline Baits fish attractant. It does stay on the hook a little bit better than the chicken livers, but it's literally going to turn the chicken breast orange. Our chicken liver, which we also have a chicken liver, it's going to turn it, the chicken breast, blood red. We have a monster crab, and it smells just like crab. One of my all-time favorites when it comes to catching catfish. Of course, the garlic. We got a cut bait, which will turn the baits green. And not only does it change the color, but when you fish these baits, it's going to leak that color and scent into the water, And if you're fishing a river, it's going to carry it a long ways down there.
So it's going to pull them in.
Yeah. Yes. It's absolute going to draw. Again, 4-ounce bottle, easy to handle, not going to take up a lot of room, and I'm sure there's other guys out there that are using the products other ways. That's the way that I like to use it. And, so yeah, of course, we covered the trout and,
have you got your carp scents out yet? Or are you still working on that?
No, actually we have, Mike, we probably have, and I'm sitting here looking at the whole range. We probably have, there's thousands of bottles sitting on the shelves, but there's probably 60 to 70 different flavors or scents available for the carp range. We got a pro series, we got a premium series. So for instance, this is our pro series 8-ounce bottle. This one's called Extra Butternut. One of our best sellers on the market. Also, we carry a premium series, which is white label. This is white label. These are a little more expensive, just because of where we source the products from. And then we have a small, it's called an Elite series. And these are just for guys that want to, just something quick on the outside of the bait or on their boilies, pop-ups. Some guys like to use cereal, bread or whatever. You can just give it a little squirt. Again, 1-ounce bottle, with a sprayer. Work great for the carp industry as well.
I was about to ask you too if you had. So growing up, I'd never carp fished, but I talked to people that carp fished years ago, and they would make a bait of strawberry soda and bran flakes. Do you have that flavor?
So of course we have a strawberry, a super southern strawberry. We got a poppin' strawberry. We got a fermented strawberry. We got an ultra strawberry cream. I mean, the list just goes on and on,
So they weren't pulling my leg when they said strawberry soda works pretty good and you mix it with stuff.
No, sir.
Okay.
No. I mean, what we've done is where a strawberry soda is only going to last that scent and smell. It's not quite, it smells good when you first make it, but normally by the time you get to the lake or the river, you don't smell much smell. And course, the concentrated, flavors just, and a lot of guys like to fish oatmeal or grits, freeze-dried breads. There's trout chows that they use. I mean, there's boilies, and that's a little round bait, which we're set up. We do that here. So we're able to manufacture, the boilies and sell to, the public. And then, of course, we supply all of our tournament teams that travel all across the United States, competing in these huge carp events. We fished one on the St. Lawrence River this year in July. It was 130 hours nonstop.
Wow.
6 days. The wind, the rain, the heat, and you never knew what was going to be thrown at you on that St. Lawrence River.
Right.
And in the end, we were very successful. And myself and my teammates, we pulled out the win. We won the, longest tournament in history, if not the largest, one of the largest payouts, for the tournament, so yes, I mean, it was great fun. We traveled Syracuse, New York, Texas when we get the chance. Dale Hollow, Tennessee has some of the best carp fishing there is.
Yeah. I never knew that.
Yeah.
I know it's got great bass fishing.
Yes. And, but Mike, some of the fish in Del Hollow in Tennessee are just unbelievable, you know. And Mike, I think, you know, since we talked the last time, you know, our big news now is Proline Baits. You know, we've worked hard. We've believed in our product. We've put it in front of, you know, lots of people. And, you know, May 14th this past year, we got a phone call from Bass Pro Shops. And as of today, I think we're roughly in 60, 70 stores across the United States. They have 19 SKUs available in the catfish, the trout, the crappie, and of course the bass. So, I mean, there are 19 SKUs available, you know, some stores aren't going to carry all the product. It just depends what fish are, you know, heavily populated in that area.
Right.
Also, we're in the Cabela stores as well, in certain locations, you know. So yeah, I mean, we've come a long way since, you know, the last time we talked and met, and it's been very exciting working with, you know, the Bass Pro Shop team. And also, we got to give a shout out to True Timber. You know, our packaging, you know, on our bottles, our labels. You know, we carry the True Timber, camo and the fishing pattern.
Yeah.
Of course, you can see it in our banner in the background. It was great working with their team. You know. And it really took a lot of teamwork on all three, you know, not only Proline Baits, but True Timber and Bass Pro Shops. It was just awesome working with them. Yeah. And we're just really excited to see, you know, where we go from here.
We are all out of time for this segment right here, but man, I certainly appreciate you coming on and showing all the great stuff that you got at Proline Baits. Can't wait for it to get a little warmer so I can spray some on and get out there and fish too.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. We really appreciate you taking the time, and Brandy, you know, for believing in our product
and kicking my butt.
Yeah, and putting it to the test. And
yeah,
those are the kind of stories we like to hear. You know, we love that positive feedback.
So check them out, ProlineBaits.com. There he goes, Keith Cisney. Can't wait to visit with him here in January. We've got plenty more show coming up here with you. Another quick break. We'll be right back. I'm Mike DelVisco, Outdoor Showcase.
Come on, big fish. All right. Tackling a big one. Yes. Woohoo! Oh, yes! Oh, look at this big boy.
Hey, Mike DelVisco back with you here, Outdoor Showcase. Sheila, what did you think of the cool stuff that Keith has?
Well, only thing I could say is I'm very excited to have him at the show this year, and I think he's coming very well stocked. I'm not going to announce how much space he's got, but he has got some really, really great products, and I think all those fishermen are going to be very, very happy.
Yeah.
And you know, Mike, we got a lot of new people fishing in the last year, and they've they've not been able to see Keith's products.
Yeah, and one thing that I like about it is that, you know, and this is kind of goes with your philosophy of the show, is that it's not just a bass fishing show. There's guys that crappie fish and catfish and saltwater fish and even go trout fishing. And even carp fishing. And if you saw from what Keith has, he's got stuff that works for all of that. He's got a specialty line of his baits that work for multi-species. And that's, you know, one of the things that you've tried to do here at the show.
Yes.
Is make it more of a multi-species event. So I think it's going to fit in great.
Oh, yeah. He's going to fit in very well.
Yeah. So once again, if anybody missed the very beginning of the show, we'll tease this again. We've got a contest going on, really cool contest that you came up with, and I'm excited about it. We've had a bunch of people like, share, and tag a friend. Where do they have to go to find this?
They can go to the Outdoor Showcase Facebook page, or they can also go to the East Tennessee Fishing Show Facebook page.
Oh, we've got it posted up there too. Awesome.
Yes, it is.
Great.
And so it's going to be really simple to win. And so we're going to choose one special winner in December.
Great. And they are going to get to win a 2-night stay at one of your host hotels for the East Tennessee Fishing Show, and also tickets for the show, which would be great because, like we said before, you just can't see everything in one day. You need a couple days to take it all in. So great, fun contest, really simple to get involved. Go to the Outdoor Showcase Facebook page, like, share, and tag a friend of that specific post. You'll see it right there. It's right up top. And you could be winning tickets to the show and a stay in Knoxville.
That's right. So who do we have coming on next?
So coming up next is a guy that makes some other really cool stuff. And if you've ever been out fishing and to one of these lakes in, well, it could be wherever, because he sells his products all over the place. Yes, but you've seen those big green lights underneath the dock. They attract bait fish, they attract bluegills, they attract crappie, and they attract big giant bass. Hydra Glow fishing lights. They make a ton of cool stuff. They've got a ton of cool new products. And I think I first actually saw one of his products down at Dale Hollow Lake in Tennessee, Kentucky border. And there was a bass underneath that light that was probably 10 pounds. It was like the biggest bass I've ever seen in the water in my life. It was a giant one. And I said, man, that's so cool. And then we ended up getting him on the show. So he's coming up next. Daryl Keith from Hydra Glow Fishing Lights coming up here.
All right. Sounds wonderful to me.
Yeah, awesome. Another quick little break. Right back. Daryl Keith, Hydra Glow Fishing Lights. I'm Mike DelVisco. That's Shelia Bunch. Shelia Bunch. Shelia Bunch.
Shelia Bunch.
Hey, Mike DelVisco back with you here, Outdoor Showcase. And, you know, the one thing that I really like about hosting this show, or co-hosting this show, I should say, is the fact that we get to visit with a lot of cool people who have a lot of cool stuff for the outdoor industry. And, you know, you saw that with the first segment we did with Keith Sisney from Proline, some great fish attractants for multi-species. We now have a totally different product from our friends at Hydra Glow. Daryl Keith coming up here with us next that has, you know, underwater lights, dock lights, boat lights for multi-species too. So freshwater, saltwater. If you're near some water, you can put one of his lights in and see all kinds of cool stuff. And one quick little story. I remember the first time that I actually saw one of your lights, It was at Dale Hollow Lake. We stayed at a big marina, and I had my boat slipped up, and I was walking to the boat one morning, and I noticed this big green thing glowing under the dock, and I said, man, that's so cool. What is that? And I looked down, and there's just fish swimming everywhere. There's bluegills and minnows and crappie and big giant bass, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. And here you are on the Outdoor Showcase with you. Welcome.
Hey, glad to be here, Mike. This great show. Great show.
Yeah. So you've got a bunch of cool stuff, and not just for freshwater fishing applications, but saltwater too, and just about everything in between. So let's I don't even know where you want to start, but let's start with kind of the basic, the underwater stuff that I've seen before. Put it at your dock underwater.
Cool. We got I'm gonna tell you a little bit about us first, so you'll get a background on what we're doing. I kind of grew up in the night fishing as a kid, and used Coleman lanterns, spotlights, everything you can think of. And just as I got a little older, I started kind of get an idea to come up with a better way to do this thing, other than trying to put a Coleman lantern in your face and get bugs in your ears and on your nose and everything else. So started tinkering with a lot of different designs, and over 22 years of doing this now, we've come up with some products that not only is for fishing off your boat, but it's also for off your dock. We have some cool stuff to lighting your dock up and your walkways and marinas, pathways and things like that. But, you mentioned our underwater stuff, and I'll kind of give you an idea what it looks like. This is kind of what our underwater dock light looks like. This is a pretty cool little thing we've come up with. And this is actually anchored to the bottom off your dock, shining up from the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's why it looks so bright when you walk up on it at night. This thing is shining up from, anywhere from 6, 10, 12 feet deep, depending on the clarity of the water. And the cool thing about this type light is it stays on all night. And gosh, after a few hours, you can go down there and, like you say, there'll be bait fish swimming everywhere, and stripers or hybrids or crappie or whatever you want to call it, all over the light. So it really makes it very cool. So if you live on the water, this type of underwater dock light is really what you want for entertainment and a real cool looking dock. Very easy to install too. It's just basically you'll zip tie a weight on it, throw it in the water, plug it right into your outlet on your dock. So we'll make it very easy to do. It's very cool.
And how much weight do you need to actually get it down?
Generally, 2 pounds, something like that. If I'm on a coastal situation where I've got a lot of current coming through, I may go up to 4 pounds just to hold it in location. So, the current coming, it may rock it over a little bit, when the current goes, but at least, about 4 pounds, it won't drag the anchor that you put on there across the bottom.
Right.
Really, that's all you're doing. But if you're in a lake like Dale Hollow or many of the lakes in Tennessee, Missouri, Michigan, just, a couple of pounds, put it zip tied on here or throw it off the dock. And this pops up off the bottom. So it's up off the bottom. It's out of the mud, out of the muck. That way it doesn't get all clogged up on top of it over time.
Right. And how far under the surface do you recommend?
Well, generally, it depends on clarity. That's the big thing. If I'm on a lake like Dale Hollow, you mentioned the water is gin clear, basically.
Yes.
I can put it 10 to 15 feet deep, and it will light up a huge area somewhere 30 to 40 foot diameter. If the water's not like gin clear, then we're probably talking 5 feet. If I can see 3 feet down, I may want to have this about 5 feet below the surface, which is below boat traffic, which is your primary factor is boat traffic. So you make sure that when you throw this off the dock, that it floats up, it's well below boat traffic. And a good example, I used to say I'm in 10 foot of water. I would come down the cord about 5 feet, zip tie my weight on here, throw it off the dock. The weight hits the bottom, and this floats up 5 feet up off the bottom and 5 feet from the surface. So that just gives you a good idea how you regulate it. You just regulate it by where you put the weight on the cord as to how high it comes up.
Gotcha. And I guess the other question I've got too is that, was it designed specifically for attracting bait fish, which attract bigger fish, and then you said entertainment too, or was it designed for a safety feature, or a little bit of both?
Well, ideally, when we first started, it was for attracting fish, but it makes such a cool look that people who saw it, who don't even fish, started buying these things. You know, if you live on the water, you know, and you walk down on your dock and you can sit out there and watch fish, you know, that's really kind of cool. You know, That's what people like to do. And, you know, I've seen people sit out on the dock with a bottle of wine and never had a fishing pole in their hand.
Right.
You know, so just watching the entertainment value of what's going on in the lake, and being down, shining up, you see everything in the water column from the light up.
Mm-hmm. And one of the other times that I saw it was again at Dale Hollow. This was at another marina that's got a big restaurant, and I wasn't even paying attention to the light. I was watching the kids they were throwing Wonder Bread off the dock, and these bluegills were coming up and eating it. I got a little closer and I looked down and I saw one of your lights there, and it was, I don't know how many bluegill, like 40, 50 of them down there, and some giant bass just underneath. You could just barely see their silhouettes in the light, and they'd cruise in and out. It was so cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, we do. A lot of our customer base are dock builders and marina operators. And just as you mentioned, the one you were talking about is at a dining area at the marina.
Yes. So
the people congregate in the restaurant and they come out and sit around at night and just enjoy themselves and watching the fish around the lights. And, you know, that's one of the entertainment aspects of the lights. But, you know, if you're commercial applications just for that purpose, or just a single light off your dock at the end of your dock, is a really cool thing to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I guess that answered those three questions. So what, I've noticed, you know, we talked, you've got so many other things, and that light your first kind of the first introduction, and other products kind of stemmed off of there as well?
Well, actually, we started with our 12-volt lights, and I've got one here. I'll show you an example of it. This is our newer model, and this is a 1-foot model light here, made in America, which I'm very proud to say that we're making these lights in the United States now, no more in China. And the cool part about it is that we were able to move our production out of China back to the United States without a price increase. It's much better quality. This light you can run over with your truck and not break it. You can drop it, hook it up to your 12-volt battery, drop it straight in the water, and it does the same thing we were talking about with our dock lights. We're attracting bait. When we attract bait to where our location is, the predator fish do nothing but follow the bait schools. Right. So our whole intent and purpose is, it doesn't matter if you're in your boat and off your dock now, then you can have a Hydra Glow light that you're going to enjoy fishing with.
Yeah. So if you're going out night fishing, like, you know, I live here on Douglas Lake in East Tennessee, but man, there's people that go night fishing all over the country, and what a great thing to have one of these lights with you, portable, drop it over the side, call them right to the boat.
Absolutely. You know, and when we started, we actually were making a much bigger light. We were making a 4-foot long light for this. And our primary market 20 years ago was actually swordfish. And then it was a booming industry for us for many years, especially South Florida. It caught on up off the coast of New England for tuna. A big market for us now is actually off of Southern California for squid fishing. So it's used for squid fishing off California up through the Pacific coast. We ship to Australia, Pacific, some of the Pacific islands, in the Mediterranean. We have dealers now in Croatia and France, Italy. So we ship this type light all over the world now for fishing all over in so many different applications as well.
That's so cool. So, you know, like I said at the beginning, it's not just for freshwater bass fishing or crappie fishing.
Correct.
It is good for everything.
Correct. And, you know, when we started, like I say, we started out with a much bigger light. It was very cumbersome, but it was also cost you several $100s for that bigger light. So we migrated into different sizes of lights for particular applications, such as shallow water. You couldn't use a 4-foot light in 3 foot of water. So we started making smaller lights, and now we have 4 different sizes of 12-volt fishing lights now. So we give you one for a kayak, for example. It's only 6 inches long.
That's cool.
Perfect for small battery applications. We go up to a 1 foot, 2 foot, and now almost a 3.5 foot long. So we cover the whole spectrum of where you're fishing in, either it be deep ocean or whether it be in a kayak up in the back bay somewhere.
Cool. And so for the boat application, when you're talking about the portable light, is that how would that hook up to your existing power system? And alligator clips to a battery, or can you hardwire it in and do something like that?
Good question. All of our lights come with the clips. Here's the cool advantage of it. Right here, if you can see this, this is a connector on our alligator clip side, and we can just take this connector off and screw in. We have a cigarette lighter plug made for it too. So you can just unscrew this application here, pull it apart, and just put your cigarette lighter plug right back in it. So it makes it very easy to change from alligator clips to cigarette lighter plugs. And this type setup is on all of our lights.
That is, I like products that, they're designed and people think ahead about how, practical the use is, because you might not be night fishing or using it all the time. You might be out during the day,
right,
1 week and night fishing the next. And, there you've got the flexibility to, to still have the connection there without having to go through a whole lot of trouble of wiring it up.
Yeah. And, when we've been doing this 20 something years now, you look at the things that how people fish, the ways they do it, and how you can build a product, that it fits your applications. And you also want to look at quality. You want something that's going to last. So this is not something that's going to be what I call a 6-month big box store light. When it's going to last 6 months and it's so cheap, you go buy another one.
Right.
This one will last you years. We warranty them 2 years. Every product we make is warranted for 2 years. So, and I'll give you another good example of what we look at. For example, if you can see this right here, this is a flexible little cord protector. And we put that on there because religiously you'll see lights that the cord breaks right here, right at the point of entry, whether it's our light or somebody else's. This prevents that from happening.
Yeah.
So just little things that we do in our production made in the United States that we think makes ours hands and foot over anybody else's products.
Yeah, that's another cool feature there. I can't tell you how many cell phones I've had over the years where the plug that you plug it into the wall to charge it up, that's the first thing that goes when you plug it into the phone device.
Right on that connector.
Yeah, that end goes. So
yep. That's what that does. That prevents that.
Yep, that's good thinking right there. So
I don't want to be out on the middle of the lake and my light shorts out. And
that's right.
It's not good.
That's right. So here's another question that I'm thinking of. Is it only one color, and that color is green?
I tell you, you may hear a lot of people fishing with different colors, but green is the most effective for attracting bait. And I'll tell you, it's 2 reasons why. For one, green wavelengths, for some reason, stimulates reproduction in the microscopic plankton in the water. Right? That particular plankton, is phytoplankton, is for another term for it, is the food source for the bait fish. Bait fish instinctively know where there's a light introduced into the water that this microscopic plankton is going to be there in greater abundance. That's why bait fish move to lights. Now, when it gets down to lights, the wavelength has a difference on it because green wavelength will travel about 10 times farther than white light underwater. Blue light travels farther than green. However, blue doesn't have the same stimulative reproductive effect on plankton. We do use blue in salt water just because the distance the light travels underwater, if a swordfish or a tuna is 1/4 mile away or so, just an example, if they see a blue light, they may turn their head and come toward us. which is what we want to do. So in many applications, the customers will use a green light to attract the bait and a blue light to turn ahead and hopefully attract a fish from a further away. So, but in freshwater, blue does not work on shad. So if you put a blue water off your boat at night, you're wasting your time, basically.
Gotcha.
But a white light looks very intense up close, but the distance the light travels underwater is not as great as green. So green does two things. It maximizes the plankton reproduction, and it maximizes the distance from the light that we're effectively attracting bait.
That's very cool. Very cool.
So that's why we use green.
Cool. So underwater lights that you can bring out in your boat. What about some of your specialty lights, like something to light up your dock? Unfortunately, I live on a lake and I don't have a dock because I live 100 feet up on a bluff. But if I had one, I'm sure I'd probably want some of this stuff you're going to show.
Yeah, true. It's just a good question. One of the things that we do look at, and we get asked a lot of questions from marinas and dock operators, this is an example of a solar product we make. This is a solar, high-quality solar deck dock pathway light. We sell these to marinas, started out selling to marinas, to doing finger slips with, where there's no electricity. So this is a U.S.-made solar panel. It's a lithium-ion battery behind here. Also has a photocell built in it, and it's high-impact polycarbonate that you can run over it. So it's very safe for that. And as you can see, it's very thin, so it's a very low trip hazard. Now, this is the cool thing about this little solar light is I can light up a pathway, and it will stay on for 3 to 4 nights without sunlight, simply because we use a new lithium battery in here that keeps the charge that long. So if you've got walkways, finger slips, marinas, gosh, I've had people even put them on pool steps. But it's completely submersible. So this thing can take any kind of weather, basically any kind of treatment. So if you got a pathway from your house down to the dock, or you want to light your dock up at night, this is a cool way to do it. And this model is our S1 white, S1DW. That's our white. So that's what I was suggesting. This comes in 4 different colors. So, so if you're looking for some kind of cool way to light up that model S1's, solar lights are great for that application.
That's really cool.
Yeah, not to mention we also make flounder gigging lights for the people from Mexico, Gulf Coast, Florida, up through the Carolinas, up to around Virginia. So we get into a lot of specialty stuff. If the customers want a light that we feel like we can make it, we do it.
Yeah, that thinking about that solar light, I don't have a dock house, like I said, but a lot of people, if you look at, here around the lake and a lot of different lakes, whether it's very bluffy, so you got a long distance from, your property down to your boat. Great place to be able to take advantage of that, where you might not be able to get power. Some of those, docks, it's a long walk down. They've got staircases that kind of swing down the edge of the bluff. So for safety factor, that'd be a great.
That's perfect example of what these S1 model solar lights are for. It's just a matter of taking 2 screws and screwing it on your steps, on your handrails, on your deck. Perfect. You can light it up in an hour.
And do you have the ability to turn those on and off?
They come on with a photocell every night. So they're automatically coming on and off. Okay. So the thing about putting switches in things, that's a leak probability at some point in time. So to be completely submersible, that we've had customers in coastal areas who's had hurricanes and the dock be completely underwater, and when the water recedes, the lights come right back on. So we make them for that application. It's tough.
Cool.
Tough quality.
Yeah. And it's hard to believe that we're almost out of time for this segment. I could probably talk to you for another hour about this stuff. But if people want to find out a little bit more, maybe some products we didn't talk about, or, just check out your website, hydroglow.com.
Yeah.
And I did notice that there's a shop on the on the site as well.
Yeah.
But you're at a bunch of different retailers as well.
We're at a bunch of different retailers, and we always encourage people to go by their local tackle store. You know, if they don't have it at your local tackle store, they can certainly ask for it and they can get it. We like to support our local businesses. For example, we just one of our good new dealers is J Sporting Goods in Michigan. Yeah, people up that way are very familiar with them. We'll be in West Marine stores around the country shortly. You can order at Bass Pro if you want to, but, you know, ask your local tackle supplier. That's who we prefer that you go to. You know, support your local American businesses.
Oh, absolutely. And one thing I thought about, as soon as you said Michigan, I thought about the ice fishing market. True. And not something we do here in Tennessee, and probably not something you do down there in Georgia.
No.
But you get up in those colder climates, those guys are ice fishing like crazy. I think about the giant shanties out in, you know, some of the lakes in Minnesota and stuff, and they're probably using your lights too.
Well, that's why I mentioned Jay Sporting Goods in Michigan, in Gaylord store, and the other one in Clara. That's our ice fishing market's coming up real quick. And believe it or not, you know, when you're ice fishing, you're catching crappie, drop the 12-volt lights right through the hole in the ice, and it becomes fun at night. It's a whole new dynamic for ice fishing at night. And what people don't realize is in the daytime, that big snowpack over the ice, over the lake, is still dark under there. So any light you introduce under there at night is nothing going more than bring the smelt or the whatever bait fish you have in your area. But ice fishing with Hydra Glow lights is a fun thing to do.
Yeah. We might have to actually do an ice fishing episode here in the Outdoor Showcase, something I hadn't thought about until just now. But if we do that, maybe we'll grab you on again, or try to feature some of your products or run some of your clips again. But really, really appreciate you being here on the Outdoor Showcase tonight. It went by way too fast. Once again, hydraglow.com. Daryl Keith, awesome stuff.
And made in America.
Made in America. Perfect.
Yep.
There he goes. Appreciate you being here with us.
Great.
At the end of another show here on the Outdoor Showcase. I'm Mike DelVisco. Tune in again next time. Who knows what